Alright, I am back with another Diablo 4 video. Everyone is still steaming about the patch. We will have a campfire chat tomorrow, bonfire chat, something like that, about the patch itself. I'm not really going to go further into that other than to say the beginning part of this season here, I don't really think you're going to notice almost any of the patch stuff. Like, as you know, if you've played this, you know that the beginning leveling process of like 1 to 30, 1 to 40 in world, like pretty much all of World Tier 2, you're not really going to be feeling significantly. I think a lot of the nerfs that happened here, like you are not going to have a finalized build in the first place, and you know your power keeps fluctuating so much depending on your acquired gear that it's not really, you're not really going to feel it for a while. And like when people are feeling it the most is like pushing into higher tier nightmare dungeons, and they now have to scale those back, or like things that used to be relatively smooth or easy are now brutal. Like that stuff is not really going to come up for your new seasonal character for a while here. So in the interim here at the beginning, don't really have to deal with that. As you can see, I am just starting my seasonal Necromancer. My Necromancer was my review build class, and I ran a mostly minion-based build, which was fun. This time around, I'm going to try like minion Thorn build to see how that goes. Minions just got a bunch of buffs in the new patch, so maybe eventually we'll be able to feel those more significantly, but now it's, you know, it's pretty much operating the exact same way as it did at launch, and I'm barely into things here. I don't even have skeletal mages yet. Like it's very early on here. So I'm not really talking about how my seasonal Necromancer feels. This is more about in general how things work. I'm going to try and limit my Destiny 2 comparisons here, but these are both seasonal live service games, and they were, you know, Blizzard was pretty open about how the seasonal self-contained story was mainly a mechanism for setting up the new Malignant heart thing, where there's this guy named Cormand. He lives over here. He is the harbinger of, you know, warning us about this new malignant plague that is going on. There's malignant monsters roaming around. They live in tunnels, and that introduces us to the new seasonal heart mechanic. So you go and kill these guys. You get what are these called? Invokers, and then I'm still not 100% clear on the process here, but you summon monsters, and then they drop a heart, and then you cage their heart, which becomes like an actual, essentially like a piece of jewelry. And there are 32 of these hearts, and they have some pretty insane effects. Like this one, I don't know if I feel how I feel about this, because I don't like fear, but it freezes things that are running away from you, so that's kind of interesting. I haven't applied that yet. I will. I just applied this one. When at least 3 enemies are near you, gain an aura that automatically curses enemies with Decrepify for 18 seconds. So I haven't gone through the full list of hearts yet, but there are some pretty insane ones here. So essentially what the season is doing here is this is a pretty standard leveling process of, you know, 1 to 50, 60, 70, 80, whatever it's going to be. However, it will be modified by these different hearts, and your ability to upgrade yourself into kind of crazier builds than you would have ever been able to in like a normal playthrough. Again, this will change your leveling somewhat as you get these hearts even along the way, but you know, we'll have to see what kind of final heart-based endgame builds look like. But keep in mind, they go away at the end of this season. Hearts do not carry over. So the story is a little odd because it's not really a story. You just sort of hear from Cormand that there are malignant things going around, and then you have to run like a dungeon or two to just get the general mechanics of how caging hearts works. You then start crafting things. My invoker not devious. Oh, you can craft invokers from these. Oh, Ichor, which drops from enemies. You could craft caches full of hearts. And this is, you can salvage malignant items, and then this is kind of just the new heart vendor system that exists within this. But you will, I don't know, after 20 minutes, I wouldn't say it's longer than 20 minutes, you will just be greeted with this new quest step, which is Holding Back the Flood, which is just complete Chapter 1 of the seasonal journey, complete Chapter 2. this is what the seasonal journey is. Chapter 1, it's very basic things. To start with here, collect Gallovine. It's open a cache or get like 2 or 3 Gallovines. Some of these you will just be doing through the seasonal quest. You would do 1 world events, 3 dungeons and fractured peaks. I have not done a cellar yet. 5 priority quests, which include things like cheering the troops or learning how to upgrade gear, buying a whispering key, not even using it, salvaging normal items at the blacksmith, and then we go into chapter 2 here, collect Malignant Hearts, do 10 cellars, because I got to get started on those cellars, beat a strongholds, craft a chip gem, just a level gate here, change your appearance. It's pretty much for a little while here, like a tutorial of this is what Diablo is. And I mean, if you've been playing Diablo for the past month, you know all of this stuff. Like, this is not news to you in any sense. Maybe as we get further in here, things are going to be a little harder. This is just, complete the Cathedral of Light, Never World. So all of this stuff so far to level 4 is kind of just moving through the game the way you would otherwise, with a couple of things in here about Malignant Hearts and stuff, occasionally. Here, as we get into the higher tiers, okay, now we're getting into more endgame stuff. This is Helltide things, Malignant Tunnels, which are the new ones that reward things. This is going to World Tier 4, I think. Is that the Fallen Temple? And this is the seasonal storyline. So eventually you will run back into the seasonal storyline, and there's a boss. Well, this is Nightmare Echo of Varshan, so maybe you fight Varshan before this. I must have missed that. But that is an ending to the story where there is a new boss that I guess is causing this corruption, but obviously the corruption will be going on all season long. But it's, people, I asked them if this is like on the scale of a blue quest to an act, what is this? And like, it is very obviously much closer to a blue quest. And you can see the difference as to like why this seasonal stuff is free and why a Destiny season is paid. Like, I'm not saying one is necessarily better than the other or more fun or whatever for the value, but this is, not really a story campaign in the traditional sense, or a story quest. They did say that seasons would get bigger, the further we got into it, so there would be, maybe this won't be as bare bones on the story side as we are now, but as of now, yeah, it's pretty bare bones, and I know we're going to keep running into steps that are just do 3 and 4, and like stuff like that. So we'll see where this goes. Again, this is just the beginning, but it does sound like you're just, we're just going to be farming hearts and making cool builds, which is not bad. It's just the story part of this is going to be over pretty quick, I imagine. The final thing here, Helltide Commanders, Torture Gift and Mysteries, which now cost a ton, World Bosses, Echo of Lilith. That's a hard one. And then the Tormented Echo of Varshan. Oh, there's a World Tier 4 one too. So this might be, I don't know if this is as hard as Echo of Lilith, but that's difficult. Reach level 100, that certainly takes a while. Level 43 Nightmare Dungeon, that's not so hard. But there's some genuinely hard ones in here, sure. You don't have to do all of them. You only have to do 0 out of 8. Or wait, no. So, do you have to do all those? You have to do 8. Usually it will tell you, like, okay, so I did 8 out of 9, and that let me progress anyway. And so I think you maybe have to do 1 or 2 less than the total. So if you want to skip some of these, they said, like, you can skip the PvP ones if you don't want to do PvP. And all of these are rewarding you favor. This gives you a title, Wrathful Hearts, for the season. And then there are little kind of bonuses along the way, including the new aspects. The new aspects, of course, have like the bare minimum stat rolls and are not great. And all of this feeds into not just the seasonal quest, but the battle pass. And if you bought the Ultimate Edition, I just learned this because I was trying to activate the premium battle pass because it said it wasn't active, and then it was like, activate accelerated pass. So I clicked it, and then it just went through 20 levels. And I'm like, no. But I learned that if you have the Ultimate Edition, which I was given a code for the Ultimate Edition, you automatically get an accelerated skip here. You can see the difference here between the paid and free stuff. It is a dramatic difference. Here's your free red shirt and your free sword. And here's your paid horse armor and horse lantern, shield, chest plate. You get it. Here's your free pants. Here's your free axe. And here's your paid scythe and your paid pants. This continues for some time. I mean, you're going to get the most basic of outfits essentially here, basic of weapon skins. You do get these seasonal blessings, so you will start upgrading these once you progress along the free track. They made sure that they did not want to put paying for power in here, so this will give you boosts throughout the season for all of these different categories: heart drop rate chance, XP to level faster, all of that kind of stuff. So that is stuff that is in the free track, and yet it is something that's pretty key to the season. The cosmetics, very clearly, they all have this like aesthetic. They're all, they all go together for the season. There's a seasonal theme. I don't really think they're like the Malignant aesthetic necessarily, because that would be like covered in pus and things. But helmet here, and then we just keep going. There are, so I think, are there two different types of sets here? I think there's like 2 full cosmetic sets of armor. These are class neutral, as you may recall. Awoken Coordinate Breaches. Okay, so these I think have some sort of like bonus to them. Yeah, they're like variants of the same set, I think, to a certain extent. And then you get all the way to the end here where you get your Awoken Cauldron Horse thing. There are only 90 ranks of the pass here. So again, like the free things sort of stop here. You get a title of monster, but the majority of these are smoldering ashes, so that's for upgrading things. You get platinum here, so you do get funnily enough 666 platinum, which is a fun joke, and yet if you spend platinum, you are never going to spend that 6 platinum, and that is going to drive me insane forever. As you may know, you cannot buy much in the shop for 666 platinum. I'm not sure, what can you buy for that? You cannot buy back bling. You cannot buy this horse. You can't buy this old black back bling. You can't buy anything. You can't buy anything is the answer to the question. So it's getting you part of the way to something, but as you can see, they have dumped out these big new armor sets that we are now getting to the point where, like, okay, there's a lot of cool looks in the base game that are launching, but now as we're progressing here, I mean, you saw the new free armor set here, and they are going to just, it seems like the majority of what they're going to add from here are the new good cosmetics are going to be sold, and they are still very, very expensive. This is what, $25, $30 for a skin, which I don't think includes the back bling, which is another $10. I don't, like, these are admittedly very cool. That is a lot of money for one set of armor, and I don't know if I can do it. And like, it's good, there's some amount of platinum in here, but like, you will have to save up for over 3 seasons for one like this, over 4 seasons for one like this, like an entire year of saving platinum. It's not great, and I hope they re-examine their microtransaction things for the future. These are this is a Lilith themed armor set, one for each class, which is kind of cool, but also still very expensive. So yeah, so that is kind of what we can see at first here. It is going to be a relatively normal playthrough outside of the hearts giving you big bursts of power, certainly. Seasonal storyline, really don't imagine it's going to be anything remotely involved. It is teaching you how to do the hearts. There will be a boss at some point. The end. That is kind of it. We will see how seasons change in the future, but that is essentially what they are for now. But those are my first impressions. I am absolutely going to be playing this further. I'm planning to take this Necromancer all the way to high levels because it moves to the Eternal Realm. In my Thorns build, I have a single Razor Plate drop at like level 80 something, so I gotta get her up to that. But yeah, so that is where we are at the launch of Season 1 here, where there will be plenty to talk about after the live stream tomorrow. I am going to try and find some armor that is not a yellow poncho, but yeah. Anyway, I will talk to you soon. Take care.